We're not going to do that. We know where north is, and we're going to get it done.
Governor, were you saying before that if a law enforcement believes that someone is crossing and is involved in illegal drug trafficking, that law enforcement should be able to open fire? And secondly, when you talked about direct action, you want to be able to take direct action against the cartels. Did you mean sending the military over the border into Mexico to take that action?
So we will use all levers at our disposal to win the fight. I think if you look at if somebody is breaking through the border wall, which they are doing in other parts, demonstrating hostile intent or hostile action, you have to be able to meet that with the appropriate use of force. I don't see how you can just let them do that and carve through a wall on sovereign U.S. territory with a backpack full of drugs. And so of course you use deadly force. I mean, how would you let somebody just break into your house and do you harm? No, and I can tell you in Texas they wouldn't do that. You know, try that in Texas. Why is our country any different? And these guys will bring like blowtorches. They have a huge thing that the cartels are doing. And how embarrassing is it that we have in the places we have a wall? I was there the other day in Arizona. They're repairing the wall because they busted through the wall. I mean, that is just unacceptable. And I tell you, if you drop a couple of these cartel operatives trying to do that, you're not going to have to worry about that anymore. They will not mess. They're only messing with it because they know they can get away with it.
Sheriff Salazar in Bexar County has filed charges against you for shipping migrants.
Against me?
Yes.
That's news to me.
Are you going to continue to ship migrants from San Antonio to other places? Can you tell us why you decided to use San Antonio as your hub?
So we have a program for transport to sanctuary jurisdictions. It is done by contractors who take the job, and they are able to do and identify sanctuary jurisdictions as appropriate. It's not being directed in any one particular part of Texas or Florida or anywhere else, and it's someplace that can be done at their discretion. And so I think it's been very effective, and it's something that our legislature has authorized and will continue to be used. Yep.
Governor, what would you say to President Trump? Do you need to get out of the way and let other Republicans come forward?
Well, obviously, I'm running to win because I think that we will be able to, of course, you got to compete and win the primary. We think we can win a really strong general election victory, expand the Republican majorities in the House and Senate, and then actually be able to bring all these issues to fruition. And when you bring the issues to fruition and actually get the job done and deliver results, that at the end of the day, I think, is what people really, really want to see. And in Florida, everything we promised, we did, and we actually over-delivered on our promises. And I think that that's something that's very, very significant when you look at most people that get elected to office, they over-promise and under-deliver. How many times have you seen somebody meet the promises, much less exceed them? And I think that that's the mindset that we have. But part of the reason we're able to get this done is because, you know, we just have a discipline and focus about doing the people's work and getting that job done. You know, my job as a vehicle and a leader to be able to bring all this to fruition. And we're very focused on making sure that these things get done. And here's the thing. The issue here is important because there's crime, drugs, communities are overwhelmed, 100%. But it's also just a larger issue about, can our country get big things done anymore? I mean, I kind of feel like during World War II, we would have had this border sealed, you know, in a couple weeks. Now we're in a situation where this has been a problem for years and years and years. So I think it'll be good for the country to just say, you know what? They finally dealt with the issue. You got anything, Bill?
Governor, former President Trump, he says he's the guy to fix the border. Where does your policy differentiate? When I talked to you yesterday, you said he essentially failed on his promise to carry out mass deportations before. He's promising to do it again this time. So where specifically?
Well, I don't think it's that I said that. I think if you look at the results, I mean, I think I was shocked when they were telling me that Obama's first 4 years had more deportations than Trump's term, which is incredible that that would be the case. And so that never came to fruition. Obviously, you know, you did have some wall built, but not nearly enough in terms of that. And I don't think they even started doing it, you know, for a number of years going forward. So I think a lot of the things he's saying, you know, I agree with. but I also think those are the same things that were said back in 2016. And here's the thing, we're not getting a mulligan on this one, okay? We either win the election or this is never going to be fixed. And then once you get in there, you either fix it, because if you don't fix it this time, you know, I don't think it's ever going to get done. And so we will do it. Now, where we differ on is, you know, we're more aggressive in terms of our plan than anything he did in empowering local officials to enforce immigration law. There's a lot of sheriffs here. There's a lot of local who really want to do it. I think that that's something that's very, very important to be able to do. We also said we're going to lean in against the drug cartels. They didn't really do anything in prior administrations to hold the drug cartels accountable. I think we need to do that, and we will do that robustly. Yes, ma'am. Well, some do. Some do, some don't. I think there's a combination of things you can do by executive action, and I think that there's, you know, Biden is interpreting enforcement in ways that are basically inviting people to come illegally. We will interpret the current laws in ways that disincentivize people from coming illegally. But if you look at something like Remain in Mexico, of course you do that. I mean, that's not the whole of the policy. There's so many other things you got to do. But why, if somebody is traversing multiple countries and then claiming asylum here, would you give them a ticket to go to the interior of the country? Normally, if you are somebody that legitimately qualifies for asylum, the first country you get to, you claim asylum. That's the expectation, and yet that hasn't happened. You have people come across multiple countries. So there's a lot we can do just in terms of saying, here's the marker that we're going to have. But I can tell you this, if people realize doing this big trek, claiming asylum is not going to get you a ticket into the interior of the country, you are going to see a huge, huge reduction in the number of people that are even going to try to do this going forward. And that's, I think we showed that in Florida, quite frankly, with our maritime policy. And I think we would show the same thing here today. Yes, ma'am.
How would you work with Mexican President Almo? He has spoken out against the notion of having American troops on Mexican soil. He's also spoken out against the U.S. labeling cartels as transnational criminal organizations. How would you work with
I don't know that he's going to be in office. I think his term will be up, and so it'll be interesting to see who ends up being there. But look, we're going to use whatever leverage we have to ensure that this issue is brought to a conclusion. And I think Mexico, in the past, they've been helpful on some things, very unhelpful on others. Clearly, you could not have millions and millions of people illegally crossing our border if Mexico was a 100% partner with us in this. And so I think that their government's relationship to the cartels is not something that I appreciate. We're going to be much stronger on the cartels. I know that he said he wants to basically run interference for the cartels. I think that's a mistake. I don't think the cartels have been good for Mexico, but I can tell you it's been an absolute disaster what they've been able to get away with here in the United States. And so we're going to bring our authority to bear to make sure that we're defending this country and defending the American people. All right, we'll have more to say later, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.